Good evening. I will call to order the SMUD Board of Directors meeting of December 11th, 2025. Would you please stand and join me in the pledge to the flag? And pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let me first apologize for wearing a mask. I'm a little bit under the weather, but it's my last meeting as president of this board for the year, and I didn't want to miss it. This meeting of the SMUD Board of Directors is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays on Sunday, December 14th at 6 p.m. and Wednesday, December 17th at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can also be viewed on demand at youtube.com/MetroCable14. If you want to speak to the board, please remember to unmute your microphone when speaking in order that our virtual attendees can hear you. The microphone will display a green indicator light when it is on. Please put all electronic devices in the silent mode while in the auditorium. For members of the public attending in person who wish to speak at this meeting, please fill out a speaker's request form located on the table outside the room and hand it to SMUD security. Members of the public attending the meeting virtually who wish to provide verbal comments during the meeting may do so by using the raise hand feature in Zoom or pressing *9 while dialed into the telephone toll-free number at the time that public comment is called. Technical support staff will enable the audio for you when your name is announced during the public comment period. You may also submit written comments by emailing them to publiccomment@smud.org. Written comments will not be read into the record, but will be provided to the board electronically and placed into the record of the meeting if received within 2 hours after the meeting ends. Members may speak to items on the agenda on which the board will take action and may also address the board on other agenda items and items not on the agenda but within our jurisdiction during the general comment period. The auditorium is equipped with a safety alarm. If it should sound, please leave in an orderly manner via the exits to the lobby or behind the dais. Assemble in front of the building and wait for the all-clear announcement from security before coming back inside. Chief Legal Officer, would you please conduct the roll call?
Director Rose.
I'm here.
Director Bowie-Thompson.
Present.
Director Herber.
Here.
Director Kurth.
Here.
Vice President Tamayo.
Here.
Director Sanborn.
Here.
President Fishman.
I am here.
All directors are present.
Thank you. Director Bowie-Thompson, you have the climate action tip?
I do, thank you. Let's see. Our climate action tip for December is that SMUD is committed to 100% zero carbon by 2030. There's lots of things you can do to join the charge and help us lead the global clean power city movement right here at home. During this holiday season, consider switching to LED holiday lights, which use up to 90% less energy and last much longer, helping you celebrate sustainably while using energy more efficiently. Let's get to zero carbon together and join the charge by visiting cleanpower.org.
Thank you. If there are no corrections, changes, or additions, I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Move Director Herber, second Director Sanborn. Directors, please vote. Oh, are we roll call?
Roll call. Yeah. Director Rose.
Aye.
Director Bowie-Thompson.
Yes.
Director Herber.
Yes.
Director Kurth.
Aye.
Vice President Tamayo.
Yes.
Director Sanborn.
Aye.
President Fishman.
Yes.
The agenda is approved.
Thank you. And agenda item number 2, committee chair reports. We'll start off with Director Kurth, Chair of the Finance and Audit Committee, with a report from the December 9th meeting.
There. Thank you. The Finance and Audit Committee met on Tuesday, December 9th. There were 4 discussion items, 3 informational items. The first discussion item was to discuss approving a side letter agreement between SMUD and the Public Safety Officers Association for the California Public Employees Retirement System reporting of their holiday pay as required by the Fair Labor Standards Act and documenting the monetary value of the maintenance of required clothing. This is item number 6 on tonight's consent calendar. The second discussion item was to authorize the CEO and general manager or his designee to execute firm storage service contracts with Central Valley Gas Storage LLC for 1 billion cubic feet of natural gas storage service for April 1st, 2026 through March 31st, 2031, and natural gas injection service for March 1st, 2026 through April 1st, 2026. This is item number 7 on tonight's consent calendar. The third discussion item was to authorize the CEO and general manager or his designee to negotiate and award a contract with Acuren Inspection, Inc., Alisto, Inc., Kleinfelder, Inc., and Prime EPC to provide gas pipeline engineering services for a 5-year period from January 2nd, 2026 to January 2nd, 2031 for no more than $5 million across all the contracts. This is item number 8 on tonight's consent calendar. The fourth discussion item was to approve a $2.2 million increase to the contract for environmental compliance and program development services with AECOM Technical Services, Inc., Kleinfelder, Inc., and Brown and Caldwell from $8.8 million to $11 million across the contracts. This is item number 9 on tonight's consent calendar. The first informational item was SMUD's 2025 financial statement, independent audit plan presented by Baker Tilly. The second information item was to provide the board with SMUD's financial results from January through October 31st, 2025, and a summary of SMUD's current power supply costs. The third and final information item was to provide board members with the opportunity to ask questions and or discuss recent reports by internal audit services, including the Rancho Seco Quality Assurance, Joint Poll Processing, and Customer Assistance Med Rate. This concludes my report.
Thank you, and we'll move on to Director Sanborn, who is Chair of the Policy Committee, with a report from the December 10th meeting.
Thank you, President Fishman. The Policy Committee met on Wednesday, December 10th. There were 5 discussion items and 1 informational item. The first discussion item was to discuss the monitoring report for Strategic Directive 7, which is environmental leadership as it applies to our 2024 activities. SMUD's focus on environmental leadership with our clean energy vision and zero carbon plan includes transparent reporting of greenhouse gas emissions, regional biodiversity efforts, and natural resource stewardship, equipment electrification progress, and a concerted approach to make all communities more sustainable. This is item number 10 on tonight's consent calendar. The second discussion item was to discuss the monitoring report for Strategic Directive 9, which is resource planning. In 2024, we met the state's RPS mandate of 44% retail sales by renewable energy resources and project to exceed future renewable milestones. We will continue exploring new GHG-free technology. Of note, we added 86 megawatts of new wind generation and more than 44 megawatts of customer solar and storage. We supported a 36% increase in all-electric buildings and 34% increase in electric vehicles. We partnered with 45 community organizations to expand workforce development and completed more than 2,000 electrification measures for income-qualified customers. This is agenda item number 11 tonight on the consent calendar. The third discussion item was to discuss the monitoring report for Strategic Directive 11, Public Power Business Model. SMUD meets with key federal and state officials, both local, elected and appointed, with the purpose of educating them on the impact of new and existing policy. The report updated the board on our efforts to insulate SMUD from issues that may impact our local governance. This is item 12 on tonight's discussion calendar. And the fourth discussion item was to discuss the approval of SMUD's application to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife for the Rancho Seco Lake Invasive Mussel Prevention Grant. The grant would provide funding for the installation of a boat cleaning station to prevent the potential spread of golden mussels into Rancho Seco Lake. And this is item number 13 on tonight's discussion calendar. The last item was to discuss the board committee meeting memberships and chairs for 2026, and this was an informational item, also to review our board's work plan. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Sanborn. At this point, we will take comments from the public on the consent calendar. I do not have any cards for the consent calendar. I do have a couple for later on this evening. Chief Legal Officer, do we have anybody online who wishes to speak on the consent calendar?
We do have the one hand raised, Marissa M. This is for the consent calendar.
Yeah, we can hear you, I think.
It looks like it's still muted on my end. Oh, there we go.
Want to make a public comment? Good
This is-
evening, President Fishman and Vice President Herber. My name is Marissa Mandel, and I'm a constituent from Ward 4. I'm speaking on behalf of the Save the Coyote Creek Community Movement. I see that item 13 on tonight's consent calendar uses state funds to protect Rancho Seco from invasive mussels. It proves that you know how to be good stewards when you want to, but items 10 and 11 contradict this, and your reports tonight claim that you enhance biodiversity and that you explicitly state that your goal is to, quote, minimize impacts on the land and the habitat. But to us, this feels like greenwashing. Director Kurth and Director Sanborn, you both attended the Sacramento Tree Foundation meeting just last week. Director Rose, you were at the Sierra Club Awards on Saturday. I don't see how you can attend those meetings in 1 week and then vote to clear cut 3,000 heritage oaks the next. Zero carbon should not mean zero habitat. If you sacrifice our local ecosystem to build infrastructure, you aren't saving the environment, you're just paving over it. This opposition to this project is overwhelming. We are organized, we are watching, and legal challenges are likely coming. I ask you as a business decision, is this worth it? Is destroying a local landmark worth the years of bad press and expensive lawsuits? Stop the greenwashing, cancel the plans to destroy Coyote Creek, and ensure that your actions match your promises. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else on the consent calendar?
We do have one additional hand raised, but I would remind the people on if the public comment is supposed to be on the consent calendar. Coyote Creek can be discussed during the public comment period, and it looks like there's no other hands, so.
Thank
we'll
you.
wait.
We will make time towards the end of the meeting for public comment for items not on the agenda, at which time people can speak for 3 minutes on whatever's on their mind, as long as it pertains to SMUD. Okay, so we'll move on to the consent calendar. Item number 3 is to approve board member compensation for service rendered at the request of the board for the period of November 16th through December 11th, 2025. Item number 4 is approval of the minutes of the meeting of November 20th, 2025. Item 5 was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee of November 18th. This item requests the board approve SMUD's pay schedule and special compensation items for employees as required by PERS, the Public Employees Retirement System. The pay schedule and special compensation items that the board will approve include the salary schedules and special compensation policy for local agency executives. The salary schedule and special compensation policy for local agency executives, excluding the CEO, includes a maximum annual salary of $510,182 to remain competitive with the market, and up to 25% incentive pay based on established metrics. The salary schedule for the CEO includes a maximum annual salary of $1.4 million to remain competitive with the market. Items number 6 through number 9 were reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee of December 9th, 2025, and items 10 through 13 were reviewed at the Policy Committee of December 10th. We just heard those committee reports. If there are no corrections, changes, or additions, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second?
Move Director Tamayo, second Director Bowie-Thompson. Conduct a roll, please.
Director Rose.
Aye.
Director Bowie-Thompson.
Yes.
Director Herber.
Yes.
Director Kurth.
Aye.
Vice President Tamayo.
Yes.
Director Sanborn.
Aye.
President Fishman.
Yes.
The consent calendar is approved.
Thank you. Moving on to the discussion calendar and agenda items 14A and 15. Items 14A and 14B pertain to the 2026 budget. Item 14A is to adopt the 2026 budget, which, among other things, establishes an operations and maintenance budget of $1,434.5 million, including public goods charges of $104 million, a debt service budget of $216.3 million, a capital and reserve budget of $671.6 million, and authorized contingencies. Item 14B is a declaration of intent to issue debt to create $400 million of additional bonding authority to reimburse for qualifying capital expenditures, and official intent to reimburse for 2026, 2025, and 2024 capital expenditures from bond proceeds, which is required to maintain tax-exempt financing capability. We do have a presentation from Scott Martin, our Chief Financial Officer.
Good evening, board members. Let's see if we can move to the presentation here. Just move down, or are you guys going down? Oh, thank you. So I am Scott Martin, the Chief Financial Officer. Appreciate being here tonight. I'll be talking very briefly about an overview of the 2026 budget, as well as what you'll be voting on tonight, to give you kind of a little bit more information about that. As background, we started this process back in October, where we came to the board in a committee meeting to present sort of the priorities for the 2026 budget and a sort of an overview of the different spending, where that spending would occur, the different programs we would be funding, the important projects we would be pursuing, and how we're trying to meet our key and critical objectives spelled out in the strategic directives. So we gave that overview on October 14th. We then paused and posted everything out on SMUD.org. And on November 18th, we had one night of informational presentations that was done by me. We walked through in detail all of the budget information, how we are spending all of our operations and maintenance dollars, how we are spending all of our capital dollars, how we are funding, as I mentioned, the key and critical projects that help us achieve our strategic direction for 2026. And we did that on November 18th. And then, of course, tonight is the board vote to approve the SMUD 2026 budget. So let's go to the next slide. So again, overview of what the board is authorizing tonight. We're requesting $2.3 billion of spend in 2026. That breaks down to $216 million of debt service, $769 million of operation and maintenance, $593 million of commodity expenditures, which include all of our natural gas and electricity, renewables, things like that we need to serve customers' loads. We're spending $672 million in capital, and we have $73 million in public goods as part of that $2.3 billion spend. So what is the board really authorizing? That's over on the right-hand side in this slide. You're authorizing that $2.3 billion spend. You are also authorizing transfers in and out of what we call our rate stabilization fund. One example of a transfer in or out of that fund would be for our water year this year. We had some good rain coming into December, but December has been dry. We don't know yet what the water year will ultimately hold by March, but by the end of March, we will determine if it was a good water year or a poor water year. And based on that situation, we will need to make either deposits into the rate stabilization fund or out of the rate stabilization fund to help balance our budget, given whether or not we have enough water or not enough water. So that's just one example of some of the transfers that may come in or out of the rate stabilization fund in any given year. We also have provisions for adjusting budget authority. So for instance, if we have loads that are far exceed what our expected load is for next year, that would mean more energy sales and more commodity expenditures, for example, we would need to spend to meet those loads. And of course, your agreement tonight allows us to make those additional expenditures to meet those additional customer requirements if we needed to. Also, the staffing level, I will mention the staffing level has not changed from 2025 to 2026. You'll also be authorizing all of our debt management processes. We will be bringing back to the board any debt issuances that we plan to do in 2026 when we do them. You're authorizing up to $400 million of additional bonding authority. We don't anticipate spending $400 million, but we're asking for up to that, again, just in case. But we anticipate spending probably in the neighborhood of $200 to $300 million in terms of debt issuance. And of course, we will be reimbursing capital expenditures that we make in 2026 with any debt that we issue in 2026. So debt matches long-term assets, not short-term assets. And then you'll also be approving the 2026 employee pay schedule. So let's go to the next slide. So just give you a quick overview, a very simplistic overview of our net income, or what we would call our income statement, which shows the net income that we plan for 2026. We plan to have about $1.9 billion in electric sales. Other revenues about $74 million, to a total of about a little north of $2 billion in total revenue. You can see the various expenditures that we have there, of which include commodities and O&M, and of course our other costs, which mainly are depreciation. And that produces a net income of about $226 million. Now, what do we do with that positive net income, and why do we plan to have net income? You can see some of the reasons off to the right. One really critical reason is we need to maintain minimum financial ratios. And I understand most people don't really know what these are, but they're important to making sure that we meet our minimum bond covenants when we issue debt. Those that buy our debt and want to be repaid need assurances that we will in fact repay them. And so we calculate financial ratios that show, yes, SMUD has the financial capacity to repay you when you buy our debt. That's very important for our credit rating, which is AA, and we want to keep it that way because it keeps our debt as inexpensive as possible. And that, of course, then helps us keep our rates as low as possible. So we meet our minimum financial metrics with our net income. We also manage all of our current risks that might occur during the year. I mentioned earlier the water that we may get within the Upper American River project. Hydro is one of our cheapest resources. If we have less water, that makes our expenses go up for serving our customers. Some other risks that we face would be interest rates during the year that can change relative to what our budget is. We can also have the economy change, inflation change, our total sales to customers can change. There are many risks that we face during the year. And as those risks play out during the year, our net income can help balance any losses that we may incur according to those risks. In addition to that, it helps to offset our capital costs. That's really what the bottom line is for our net income. If it's not used to help us balance the budget within the year or to we have extra after meeting our minimum financial ratios, we use that net income to spend on our capital expenses. And those capital expenses are about $672 million next year. And as I mentioned, we anticipate somewhere in the $200 to $300 million range for issuing debt. So that means $400 million needs to be generated by our operations in order to pay for that capital of $672 million next year. So our net income is a key component of how we plan to reduce the need to borrow when we spend on capital projects. Next slide, please. So again, a couple things that are attached to for the board's decision tonight would be the 2026 budget resolution, which is kind of what I just went over on these slides, and the debt resolution, which gives us the authority to issue the debt and move forward with our capital plan. So I believe that's my last slide. Is that the last slide? Yes. Last slide. So okay. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Scott or comments? Seeing none. Oh, yeah. Director Rose.
Maybe watching or in the audience, right? We spent a very lengthy evening a month ago going through the budget. So if you don't see any board member questions, that's because we've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb already. And the budget is always a balancing act between bringing in revenue today and having these big capital projects and saying, okay, we're building a substation for $100 or $200 million. People in 10, 20, and 30 years can pay part of that as well. And how do you balance that versus people, paying rates today? And so it's very interesting and a fine balancing point. I think the staff does a good job of preparing this every year. I want to thank them for all the hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rose. Anybody else? No? Okay. I do not have any cards from people to speak who are here in the audience on this item. Do we have anybody online?
I do not see any hands on this item, no.
All right. Then if there is no further discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve item 14A.
So moved. Second.
Moved Director Tamayo, seconded Director Rose. Call the roll, please.
Director Rose,
Aye.
Director Bowie Thompson,
Yes.
Director Herber,
Yes.
Director Kurth,
Aye.
Vice President Tamayo,
Yes.
Director Sanborn,
Aye.
President Fishman.
Yes.
And the motion is approved.
Thank you. And if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to also approve item number 14B.
So moved. Second.
Moved Director Tamayo, second Director Herber. Please call the roll.
Director Rose, Director Bowie Thompson,
Yes.
Director Herber,
Yes.
Director Kurth,
Aye.
Vice President Tamayo,
Yes.
Director Sanborn,
Aye.
President Fishman.
Aye.
Motion is approved.
Okay, item number 15 is to discuss possible merit increase to the Chief Executive Officer and General Manager's base salary and/or performance bonus pursuant to the Chief Executive Officer and General Manager's employment contract. I do not have any cards to speak on this item either. Anybody online that wishes to speak on this item?
There's nobody on the line.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, the board met about a month ago to discuss Paul's performance, and I think we all agree it's been stellar. We appreciate your acumen, your attention to detail, your standing in the community, and your standing in the energy industry, Paul. I was lucky enough to travel with you recently with a group of other executives from different utilities around the country, and they all and there's some big dogs there too, but Paul Wolf's pretty loud in that group. So, is there anybody else who'd like to add anything? Director Sanborn?
I was president of the board in '23, and we went to Dubai together, and watching Paul talk to the leaders of the world in energy, and to have the room basically so quiet you could defer to pin drop because they couldn't believe what we were doing at this utility. The whole world now knows about SMUD, and there's every time we go into conventions, people look at my name tag and say, "You're with SMUD." We have SMUD envy. So SMUD envy is a real thing, and it's because we do a whole lot of things really well, and it's not by accident. We have a really good team and an excellent CEO, and that is why we're giving you the pay raise that I believe the POS staff is also getting as well. It's the same rate increase. So thank you so much for your great work. We're so
Director
lucky to
Herber?
have you.
Thank you. Well, I can attest to Paul's well-known ability and loved by all the folks in the utility industry. But I want to speak to something that I think is even more important, and that is Paul is really loved by the employees here. And that's not always an easy thing to do. He's fair, he's honest, and I think that's really important. Another thing is Paul is also well-traveled in the community. People know who he is. He talks to leaders and puts together partnerships. He has us go out and talk about all of it, which is great. But just really want you to know that your activity here at SMUD with employees and your activity in the community here is a really valuable thing. Thank you.
Okay. Director Tamayo?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to just briefly say I really appreciate Paul's role in really maintaining a really strong culture here at SMUD. We're known in the community and around the country for being able to meet audacious goals and to really be a positive force in the community and in addressing greenhouse gas emissions. And Paul doesn't do it all by himself, and I think the real strength of his talent is being able to get the whole organization leaning forward to really make rapid progress to these very important goals and to contributing to the community. And I see it all over the place. So thank you very much.
Director Bowie Thompson?
Thank you. I just wanted also to extend my thanks to Paul. It's an amazing story to start as an intern and 42 years later become CEO, and that's a testament to Paul and his hard work. And I know it's difficult when you see the numbers. They seem quite high, which they are. But when you look at the industry, Paul is not just an average CEO, and we have been paying him either at or below the average for many years, and I really respect SMUD and what we do, and it always pained me that we didn't appropriately compensate our chief executive, because I think Paul and the previous executives are the best in the business, and so I know it is a high number, and it, especially in these very, very difficult times, but we need to also recognize that our bills are, depending where you are in the spectrum, 30 to 50% less than our neighbors, and our neighbors' paychecks are, I don't know, thousands of times, I feel, more than our CEO. But I just wanted to remind people that it's not just about the pay on the paper, but it's what that represents, and what our salary represents is compensating someone who is at the top of the field. So I thank Paul for his over 42 years of work here at SMUD, and we wouldn't be where we had, not just as you as being a CEO, but you have grown up within this organization and helped it become the organization it is today in the last 40 plus years of your career.
Okay. If there is no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve a merit increase of 3.5% for Paul effective the first pay period of 2026.
So moved.
All right, who made the motion?
Rob can do it.
Okay, moved Director Kurth, seconded Director Bowie-Thompson. Please call the roll.
Director Rose.
Aye.
Director Bowie-Thompson.
Yes.
Director Herber.
Absolutely, yes.
Director Kurth.
Aye.
Vice President Tamayo.
Yes.
Director Sanborn.
Aye.
President Fishman.
Aye.
The motion passes.
All right, and at this point, we allow the public to comment on items not on the agenda but within our jurisdiction, and I do have 4 cards. First up, 5 cards. I'm sorry. Okay. We will start with Celeste Aguilar, and then Sean Worth is next. Ms. Aguilar, are you here? Okay. Please come to the podium. Do not move the microphone, as it's designed to pick up your voice at a distance. Please remember to direct your comments to the SMUD board. If you have any written materials you wish to provide, please hand them to a SMUD security officer to distribute. And also, since your matter has not been placed on the agenda, the board may not engage in an active discussion of the matter and is limited to briefly responding to your statements, asking clarifying questions, and directing staff to follow up on a matter. You have 3 minutes.
Awesome, thank you. Shouts out Paul. Seems like, you got a lot of love from the employees, so that's awesome. But I did, the SMUD envy is very true. The community does love SMUD. As a young resident of the Sacramento County, I always flexed, and in terms of the youth, a flex means to brag, to hype. SMUD, we were like, oh, we don't have PG&E. PG&E is so negligent, they let people get their houses burnt down, everything like that. But we got SMUD, we like SMUD. SMUD's cool. So I just wanted to let you guys know that the community does have a ton of love for SMUD. And you guys definitely earned that through consistency and thorough effort and work and, putting the community first. And I just want to give you guys those kudos for building that foundation, because that is hard, especially for an energy utilities company to do that, because a lot of people can just go big, they can be negligent, they could be like PG&E. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but it's true. That's what we say in the community. So shout out to that. Yeah, I am going to talk about Coyote Creek, if it's not obvious by how I, the outfit and stuff, but I am going to talk about it. I just want to give you guys a perspective from someone that has been doing community service work for the past 5 years. I've worked in city services. I love working for the community, and I do plan to continue my community service work as I continue my career. I am only 25 years old, so as time continues, I continue on, want to help out the community. I love the community. So I just want to encourage you guys to, think about how we think about you guys now. Like, we really do appreciate SMUD. We honor your guys' thorough work, and Coyote Creek is like giving PG&E behavior. It's like the community is so opposed to it. We don't want it at all. Like, I understand that you guys have a lot of pressure to meet these requirements, these deadlines, but a 900-year-old oak tree is a keystone species. If we lose an oak tree, we lose food and habitat for over 300 species of wildlife, and that's just one ancient oak tree. So the devastation that will occur after is inevitable. I'm sure you guys all live within this community, so if y'all want fires and floods, then, keep doing it. But I have faith. You guys can change your mind any day, and the community will back you guys. So.
Thank you for your comments. Just real quickly, I understand we have some people in the overflow room, including at least one person who wants to speak. She's last on the list, Lisa Sanchez. We now have room in the main auditorium, so if anybody who's in the overflow room wants to now come into the main auditorium, there's plenty of seating available right now. Next up is Sean Worth. And following Sean will be Lavender Wilson.
Good evening. I was at your meeting last night, and I was interested to hear your work in environmental leadership. And I went home and actually reread that strategic item 7A, which I was really impressed with: minimize environmental and cultural impacts, conserve resources, enhance biodiversity. So I got a project for you to consider, solar project, 1,400 acres. It's going to be good price. You're going to like the price, really good price. I'm only going to kill 4,000 native trees. Only 3,000 are native oaks. Only 1,700 of them are old growth, and only a few are 900 years old. It's kind of hilly, so I plan to bring in tons and tons of explosives and blast it, and then move 1.4 million cubic yards of material to flatten it out. And to mitigate for the death of all these trees, I plan to take 3 acorns for each tree I kill, and I'm going to plant them and water them for 7 years. And then in terms of making up for this loss of habitat, I'm going to save a little narrow band that runs north and south that's so narrow that it's going to be edge effect along the entire distance. That should take care of the species. What do you think? Any problems that don't get handled with this project? I'm sure it'll be made up for with our electric lawnmowers and our pollinator gardens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Worth. Lavender Wilson up next, followed by Fatima Malik.
You speak?
Can we reset the clock, please? Oh, there we go. Thank you.
So I'm Lavender's mom. My name is Fatima Malik. And I'm really here to tell you that my daughter deserves to save Coyote Creek. You should not be destroying habitat for future generations, okay? I don't understand why you think that's a good idea. I remember 4 or 5 years ago when y'all sidestepped the state law to monopolize the solar energy market, and I've done some back of the napkin calculations. You don't have to destroy Coyote Creek. That's about 79,000 rooftops or parking lots or other places that you could actually utilize to produce the energy that you need. It is a big mistake. And I know you like to pat yourselves on the back all day long. You want to do it now? Go ahead. You ready? Go for it. Go ahead, say it. Say it now. Okay, she wants you to know you need to save Coyote Creek, okay? I don't know why you think it's a good idea, but again, I'm here to tell you on behalf of my daughter and the future generations that deserve a planet that is, I don't understand. The planet is being destroyed and you're contributing to that. It's a big mistake. Again, I really think that you all need to go back to the drawing board and think about how you're all ridden with a lot of conflicts of interest, and it's not okay to allow for Coyote Creek to be destroyed in the name of a solar farm. The tribe even came and said, don't do it. And that's very disrespectful to not listen to the tribe when they tell you that this is not a good idea. Especially when we talk about native plants, but we don't talk about native people, okay? And this land belongs to indigenous people, and it'd be out of respect that you preserve and protect the little bit of habitat that's left. Go ahead. Again, she said, save Coyote Creek. I don't know how else to say it. I'll keep saying it. And talking about salaries, I don't know if you've looked around, but it is economic hard times for everybody. So, yeah, you tout, oh, you're cheaper than PG&E, but that's not good enough. PG&E's like the devil. To compare yourself to being better than the devil is not good enough. I expect better. This is lackluster leadership. We need better leadership. Now's not the time to continue with business as usual. This antiquated utility model that you all think is okay is not. It is time to really think about the planet and how we save it for my daughter and the children that are not here yet.
Ma'am, I know you were speaking for your daughter, Lavender. Could we get your first name, please?
My name is Fatima Malik.
Oh,
Lavender's
Fatima.
mom.
Okay, thank you, Fatima. Okay, so we have a card for you as well, but I think we've already done that one, so thank you. And then Lisa Sanchez, are you here? Lisa? And you're representing the River City Waterway Alliance?
Yes, so my name is Lisa Sanchez, and I am here on behalf of myself as well as River City Waterway Alliance. We are an all-volunteer group within Sacramento working to restore and protect the health and wellness of our waterways, to include the neglected creeks within the city and the county. Following that, we are environmentalists, and we have really become shocked at the idea of Coyote Creek, even though, you know, it's not within the heart of the city and the county. It has Coyote Creek running right through it, which is beautiful, along with the vernal pools that are there and the heritage oaks. We as a volunteer group also collaborate with a lot of the American River volunteer groups and nonprofits to push against the Cassis property, as well as with ECOS to push against the airport projects that are over there. And it just, as a cumulative, really goes to show that there is a hard-pressed pushback for spaces around the Sacramento and Sacramento County that we are all trying to keep. There's a lot of infill, there's a lot of areas that we would be able to do a lot of these other projects. And the solar project is special because it is, as stated, removing a lot of trees that are heritage oak trees that we all fight so hard for. And to think of destroying those is a gut punch, especially with the Board of Supervisors as a 5-0 vote, voting all for it, knowing that so many issues are with this project. So I am here to ask SMUD to really evaluate their partnership with this project. Hopefully there's a way you all can withdraw out of that without any litigation kind of becoming for this, because I'm sure that's where it's going to go. The vernal pools will never get restored. People think mitigation is a one-for-one. It's not. Just like he said with the oaks, you know, you have this huge heritage oak tree, and you're supposed to replace that with a baby oak. 90% of those don't make it. 90% of those do not survive. But the mitigation doesn't account for that lifelong. So there's a lot of problems with this. And we definitely hope that SMUD can continue to be a stellar pillar of the community. I have SMUD, I use SMUD, we love SMUD. We all think highly of SMUD, especially with PG&E not being so highly thought of. We know you will make the right decision, and we implore you to figure a way to not proceed with this big project. On a short note with that, with my 20 seconds left, I just want to remind everybody that this is a temporary project. It's only 35 years long. So we're going to cut these heritage oaks. We're going to graze and raise down all of the valleys and the hills and the vernal pools that are supposed to be there temporarily. That will never get replaced. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. That's all the cards I have for people to speak here in the audience. Chief Legal Officer, do we have any requests to speak from people online?
We do. The first one up is John.
John, you're up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, this is John Weber. Good evening, President and Board of Directors. I've got 5 shout outs for SMUD employees tonight. Josh Langdon and Ernie Miller. I met with them. We had good conversations, answered all my questions. I have a shout out to Joey Penniman and Zachary Lawrence for their excellent job they did on a workshop regarding span equipment for houses that don't have a lot of amperage going to the houses. And the 5th shout out is to Tony Stelling, and she's done an excellent job communicating with me regarding written comments. And that's it for tonight. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Next.
Next up is Betty Chu.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I am also calling tonight on behalf of Saving Coyote Creek. I'm not going to repeat a lot of the wonderful talking points that have already been brought up. And quite frankly, I really doubt that any of you on the board right now are not aware of the reasons why you should not destroy Coyote Creek. As a resident of California, even though I don't live in Sacramento, I consider Coyote Creek to be part of the state's heritage. And as such, I will try to put it in terms that might resonate better with the board, which is that I will very happily contribute as much money as I possibly can for any legal defense funds. So be prepared to be mired in lawsuits. And I'm part of many mycological organizations across the state. As you should know, mycologists care very deeply about conservation and the environment. And so we have a pretty good community and network of people who would also be willing to contribute to any legal defense funds. And so I hope it doesn't come down to that, but be prepared to see us in court if you insist on continuing with this horrific plan to destroy pretty much everybody's heritage. I mean, these are old growth redwoods, not redwoods, oaks, but I don't know why you think that planting new trees is really going to make up for destroying trees that are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. And seriously reconsider your plans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Jade Wolonsky, followed by Chris Bennett.
Hello, I am calling in to express my disapproval of the Coyote Creek project. It really doesn't make sense to me to implement a solar plan that will only last 35 years and at the expense of centuries-old oak trees and the wildlife associated with that. And now everybody's talking about trees, and I care about the trees very much, but I can also put it into terms that maybe might resonate more with the board members today, which is this is really all about people too. We can talk about vernal pools, we can talk about the animals, but really it comes down to, do you want to have our children and grandchildren, and frankly ourselves, wake up and have no birds singing outside? Because that's what's going to happen when you eliminate these entire ecosystems. Not to mention the fire risk that occurs when you eliminate native plants that have been here for thousands of years that can handle the harsh conditions of fire. An ever-present problem in California, and some people mention PG&E. We do not want to be like PG&E. And today you granted your executive a pay raise for his excellence because he serves the community well. Well, I encourage your executive and the SMUD board to serve the community in this issue too. Coyote Creek is not popular, and it's not popular for a reason. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person up is Robert Cesar Bovera Spina. But there were some other people on the line and a bunch of hands dropped off, so I don't know if that's our technical issue on our side, but let's go ahead with Robert first.
Robert?
Let's go with Elaine Kavash.
Hello?
Oh,
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to figure this out.
okay, this is Robert.
We got you,
Sorry,
Robert.
yes. Yep, thank you. Hi, my name is Robert Bavero. I'm a certified arborist with the International Society of Arboriculture, and I specialize in tree risk assessment, environmental impacts, and long-term land stewardship throughout California. I'm here tonight to address the proposed removal of Blue Oaks at Coyote Creek site and how that decision intersects with SMUD's stated commitment to clean energy, public trust, and responsible infrastructure planning. Blue oaks are one of California's slowest growing native oak species. Many of the trees proposed for removal represent many decades and in some cases centuries of growth. From a biological and arboricultural standpoint, these trees cannot be meaningfully replaced through mitigation planting. A young oak does not provide the same level of carbon storage, soil stabilization, hydrologic regulation, or wildlife habitat as a mature blue oak. Once removed, the ecological services that these trees provide are lost for generations. From a technical perspective, large-scale oak removal permanently alters site conditions. Canopy loss changes soil moisture and temperature. Root loss increases erosion and destabilizes slopes. These are not temporary construction impacts. They are long-term, irreversible changes to the landscape. I want to be clear. This is not an argument against renewable energy. Clean energy is essential, but how and where we develop these projects matter. Renewable energy should not come at the expense of irreplaceable native ecosystems, especially when alternative sites and design approaches exist. As a certified arborist, I am trained to evaluate long-term outcomes, not just short-term construction feasibility. In my professional opinion, the removal of these blue oaks represents a permanent loss that cannot be offset by planting ratios, landscaping plans, or future restoration promises. There is also a public trust component to consider. SMUD is a publicly owned utility. Decisions made today will be evaluated not just on megawatts produced, but on whether they reflect responsible stewardship of the shared natural resources. Protecting these blue oaks offers SMUD an opportunity to demonstrate leadership, to show that climate solutions and ecological protection are not mutually exclusive. Once these trees are gone, they are gone for generations. I respectfully urge SMUD to pause, reassess, and pursue alternatives that preserve these high-value native oaks while they're still advancing clean energy goals. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Next up is Elaine Kavash.
Elaine? Elaine, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
You have 3 minutes, Elaine.
Thank you. I'm a resident of the Sacramento area for almost a decade now. The Coyote Creek Solar Project is permanently and irreversibly destructive to the land, species, including endangered vernal pools and sacred tribal resources. Last night, I attended a board meeting where SMUD shared their extensive work and environmental and zero carbon goals for 2030, which includes supporting biodiversity, reducing carbon impact on species in the land, and their continued work to provide affordable power to low-income communities and support the underserved community. The Coyote Creek project does not align with the goals and values that SMUD has set for itself and actually backtracks, destroying 400-plus-year-old oaks and priceless vernal pools, which are a haven for biodiversity, borders state parklands, and threatens one of the locally accessible spaces for disabled individuals. It was not properly researched and was pushed through without proper comment or approval from the local tribes. This does not sound like a company that can or will sustainably meet its goals, especially because this project is only set to last about 30 years. I don't think anyone in this room can truly comprehend the true effects of removing and destroying hundreds of years of trees and species and sacred tribal land for something that will be irrelevant by the time I retire. Research shows that mitigation efforts will be wholly insufficient. This land will be permanently destroyed for generations, taken from us, from our children, from our children's children, and so on. Having lived in the Bay Area in the wake of the San Bruno disaster, I know once trust is lost in the utility companies, that trust is never regained. One thing that has stuck out to me is the trust, care, and appreciation that the community has for SMUD. You have the community watching and aware. Once those irreplaceable resources are lost, that trust in SMUD goes right along with it. There are so many other things that Sacramento residents have to fight against. Our neighbors are losing food and health care. Our neighbors are on the streets. Our neighbors are being kidnapped. And now our neighbors are losing their accessible spaces. Please do anything that you can to make sure this project is not pushed through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Amanda Bartel.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Can we reset
Hi.
the clock, please? Thank you. You have 3 minutes, Amanda.
Hi, my name is Amanda Bartel. I am an environmental scientist represented by CAPS UAW 1115. I went to speak at the County Board of Supervisors meeting a couple weeks back. And since then, I have seen a lot of resentment building among the community. There is obviously a lot of discussion about how much, everybody loves SMUD and how you are very valued in the community. But it has absolutely caused a lot of public distrust since that point in time, particularly because there was no SMUD representative available to speak at that county board meeting, despite the fact that this is being projected as a project that is going to, be necessary for you to move forward and meet your goals. So I want to attest to that it was really disappointing to a lot of us to not be able to hear from SMUD at that point in time. During that meeting, I learned a lot. I heard testimony about how, this was permitted in false and inaccurate ways to begin with. So, I know that you're aware of all of that. I just want to really attest to the fact that, this is already causing public distrust. I don't think that, and it really should be addressed immediately to the public based on, your track record and how valued you are in the community, what some of these discrepancies have been. I'd also like to really point out that, again, this is a 35 year project, something like that. And I am listening to climate scientists come out of, COP30 and global climate summits, predicting like mass famines in 2050 at 2 degrees of warming. So prior to working in environmental science, I worked in pharmaceutical production. And, we were drilled into us to be very efficient and do everything the right way. And I read this book at the time, and it was called The Toyota Way. And there is a concept called right first time. And it is how, Toyota has become extremely efficient in car manufacturing. And right first time is exactly what it means. Do it right the first time. Don't build a project that only has a 35 year lifespan when we have significant climate catastrophe on the horizon and even less time than that. Do it right the first time. The community is really begging you to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
I do not see any other hands.
Okay, just because we've had a little bit of technical, I'm going to give, like 20 seconds for anybody else who's
I'll give a
online
minute for
to
people
raise their
raise.
hand if you haven't spoken. Anybody else online want to raise their hand at this point?
Looks like Diane Osorio. I'm not seeing that one, but it's up there. So let's go. Is it Diane?
Is that, I can't read it on,
Yeah, it looks like Diane Osorio.
Diane?
Let's go with Kathleen Cervantes. I can see that one now here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Cervantes. I am a resident and SMUD customer here in Sacramento. I am just speaking for Save Coyote Creek. I have a few folks letting me know that their hands are also being raised right now. Chris Bennett and some other folks. So just letting you all know that as well, that I know there's people trying to raise their hands and they're not being called. But backtracking to what I was saying around Save Coyote Creek, so many folks have shared so much. I've been just admiring everyone's shares and very inspired. But as a community member, I am very much would, ask of SMUD to really rethink about how they have chosen to move. It's been very disappointing. I'm very disappointed. And, as a mother, I think of my son and my descendants and my community's descendants, because we're all tied together. And I would just, ask of SMUD to really think about more than these next 30 to 35 years and think bigger. And what other folks have already said is we want sustainable infrastructure. And this project is not rooted in sustainability. And, you are losing my trust, and you have lost it. I'll say that. You have lost my trust as someone that pays every month my bill. I'm very disappointed. And a lot of my community members here, my neighbors, were very disappointed. And you're choosing to not have a sustainable infrastructure and choosing to move in these ways. I have some more time. So I will just say that, there's still people waiting to share their thoughts and their disappointment in SMUD. And, I'm just getting blown up right now on my phone, but people are waiting to also speak. So I would, not give more than 20 seconds for people to make sure that they are being heard, and make sure that you have your systems in place so you give those folks that opportunity to speak as well. But I'll end here. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next up is Chris Bennett, followed by Liz Bramley.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Chris Bennett. I'm a SMUD customer in Ward 5, and I'm here to talk about the Coyote Creek project. I've had PG&E before, and I've had SMUD for the last 5 years. I genuinely like SMUD, but I can't support this project, which seems to have been a mistake at best or corruption at worst, and which is now undermining public trust in SMUD, which has done great work to become so beloved by the community over the years. This project appears corrupt on its face, which undermines the public trust. Specifically, the mitigation plan uses the Sac Tree Foundation to plant a single acorn for each old growth oak that is cut down. And these saplings are then only going to be monitored for 7 years, when it takes 40 plus years for an oak tree to reach maturity once it's planted. The reason why I say it's corrupt is because the president of the Sacramento Tree Foundation is also the political consultant that has been pushing for the Coyote Creek project, which is a blatant conflict of interest. Now, at the policy committee meeting yesterday, they talked about all of the ways that SMUD is trying to fight climate change, and a lot of the talk was genuinely impressive. But I have to say that destroying natural carbon sinks and bulldozing some of our last remaining vernal pools and old growth oak groves, which support dozens of critical species in our environment, is not fighting climate change and truly undermines all of the other great work that SMUD has been doing to achieve a renewable future. So please, make the right decision and send the Coyote Creek Agrovoltaic Ranch project back to the drawing board. You'll save a lot of people a ton of time and money, and you'll reinforce our love of SMUD so we can go back to saying how great SMUD is instead of having to talk about how SMUD is allowing an out-of-state greenwashing company to bulldoze natural California for a project that will only be around for 35 years, which is how old I am right now. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had Liz Bramley as being next.
Laura, the name was Liz? Liz, are you there?
Yeah.
No.
Sorry. Yes, just to give you guys a heads up, when you call on someone, it takes them a while to get the unmute button up. So that's just a heads up for the people coming up. Hi, my name's Liz Bramley. I don't actually live in Sacramento. I live in San Francisco. This news has reached San Francisco. A lot of people have been notified about it and are upset by it. I think just because you hear old growth blue oak being killed is just, I mean, it's like unimaginable. I don't know if just the due diligence wasn't done or what, but I just don't see how you guys didn't think that people would be upset about this. And vernal pools, once they're gone, they're gone. I mean, I understand overlooking certain things in a rush. You know, I get, maybe, I don't know if you guys signed something and aren't able to walk it back or what the deal is, but, you know, hearing old growth oak trees are gonna be destroyed, hearing vernal pools are gonna be destroyed, hearing that you're gonna break up continuous woodlands, which we just know is bad. It's shown over and over again by environmental science. You shouldn't break it up. And then to get on here, and I you know, I'm not familiar with SMUD, but I know of it and I've heard great things. And hearing you guys talk about your CEO, I mean, I'm a lawyer, I sit in a lot of board meetings, and people don't talk about their CEOs like that. So I know you guys are good people that mean well. Like, people don't speak like that about their bosses. And I know of SMUD, and I know you guys do great work, and people, you know, talk about you. I have a lot of friends from Sacramento whose parents live in Sacramento. Like, I've heard of SMUD, and I work in corporate law, so I've heard about it in the energy area as well. But, you know, getting on and then hearing that part of your goal is biodiversity hotspots, and then literally destroying a biodiversity hotspot that can't be rebuilt, is really shocking. So I, as the others, implore you to give this one a think over, if possible, and try to undo the damage. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Laura, just to get a sense of timing, how many more people do we have online?
It looks like we have 4 more.
Okay.
Starting with Brianna.
Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name's Brianna. I'm 29 years old and I'm a proud resident of Sacramento. Today, I stand in strong opposition to the Coyote Creek project. This project will destroy 1,400 acres of some of the last remaining intake vernal pools and oak woodlands in the Central Valley. It will kill over 3,000 blue oaks. Many blue oaks in the Coyote Creek area are hundreds of years old and up to 67 inches in diameter. Blue oaks are the keystone species to Sacramento. Just one blue oak can support well over 2,000 species in its lifetime. One oak can support 2,000 species. One-to-one mitigation does not add up, and it's your responsibility to fix your mistakes. Blue oaks take decades to produce acorns. Restoring such diverse habitats will take hundreds of years. The amount of food these trees produce will be a devastating loss. Your project will endanger a list of federal and state threatened species like the tricolored blackbird, burrowing owls, Swanson hawk, bald eagle, ringtails, vernal pool fairy shrimp, American badger, and you'll be getting rid of one of the biggest carbon sinks in the valley. This unique environment must be preserved for both current and the future generations. You cannot promise the protection of these ecosystems beyond our lifetime. SMUD talks about environmental leadership and biodiversity, but this project will do irreversible damage to our ecosystems, local biodiversity, and natural resources. You say everyone around the world knows about SMUD now? This is the time to set a standard for green energy. As someone who values the preservation of Sacramento, I urge you to consider a less destructive alternative. If SMUD cannot harness solar energy without sacrificing our old growth ecosystems, what does that say about the future of green energy and SMUD's commitment to upcoming generations? I urge you to seek sustainable solutions that prioritize the preservation of our forest. We must advocate for a future where renewable energy and nature can coexist. You have failed to listen to the scientists, environmentalists, conservationists, community, and tribes when we point out the irreversible damage it will do to our community and our ecosystems. If this is a mistake, you still have time to stop it. Coyote Creek also has accessible trails for my disabled friends, which means this is a space where everyone can experience the natural beauty of Sacramento. Protecting Coyote Creek is essential not only for its ecological significance, but also to ensure all members get to see this space. Also, 38,000 people visit this annually. That alone stimulates our economy. Stop the deforestation in Sacramento. Please.
Thank you.
Paul Ladera is up next.
Paul?
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Paul Ladira. I live in Yuba County, just north of Sacramento. I work in watershed restoration with a group of colleagues around the world through a community called Water Stories. I just would like to speak to the fact that much of the work that we do is through restoration of creeks and vernal pools, and that looking up the history as I went back, learning more about this issue, that SMUD was actually created by the voters in the 40s. The voters wanted it. And so it seems that the issue here is that the community is speaking to you, your voters, telling you they do not want this. We've run into this often in the rights of nature movement that I've been a part of in several places around the globe. And we've found solutions through community and through governments, sometimes through legal action and sometimes not, sometimes through community action. I would hope that community action would take precedent here, given the history of SMUD. And also, I think if you have any doubt why you are seeing so much resistance here, it's clear to me that the people that are speaking on behalf of the land are people that feel kinship with this land. They are connected to it in a way that I think perhaps none of you maybe really understand. And the passion and the fear comes through their words. I've seen this before, and it galvanizes people, and it's galvanizing this community in a way that I think is very powerful. And I hope you'll hear it, because that kinship and that relationship is what people want to maintain and what they want for their children and their grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Sheila Whitney.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. My name is Sheila Whitney. I have been a resident in Northern California for more than 50 years. So I've seen the changes that have occurred through development, and I want to express my concern for the Coyote Creek project. And one of the things I want to put before the SMUD board, since this project only has a 30 to 35 year lifespan or productive span, I am extremely concerned about the proliferation of data centers across the United States. And oftentimes solar farms can be a front for a potential data center coming into the community. And so I want to make sure that SMUD is committed to fighting any data center type developments that would increase electrical rates to an alarming degree and also suck up water resources and poison our environment. I think it's premature to approve this project, and I am concerned that this developer is committing so many resources to destroying the environment, removing trees, using dynamite to blast out vernal pools, and moving hundreds of cubic feet of dirt for a relatively short-term project that could be accommodated elsewhere in our community, that I'm really suspect about the potential for harming our area with further development down the line. So please consider that and protect the community. Thank you.
Next up is Diane Osorio.
Hi, my name is Diane Osorio. I'm a longtime green energy customer now for over a decade who strongly supports clean and renewable energy. I want to start by saying clearly that I'm not against green energy. I'm against unnecessary destruction in the name of green energy. Coyote Creek is a vital natural area, a living corridor of heritage trees and wildlife habitat. It's also a third of the blue oaks in Sacramento County. Once these heritage trees are gone, they are gone forever. You cannot mitigate 150-year-old oak trees. You cannot replace the functioning riparian habitat with a landscape plan. I urge SMUD to consider what many of us already know, and also to act responsibly to protect our natural resources, plan responsibly and transparently, choose sites that minimize ecological damage, honor the community's trust. The idea that we need to bomb or bulldoze heritage trees to meet our clean energy goals is a false choice. We live in a Sacramento Valley that has areas with large, expansive, or flat and brown areas already that are more suitable for this project. And we urge the board to please take this seriously and stop this project and move it to a place that actually makes sense, that is already ready just to install. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Wendy Nielsen.
Hi, my name is Wendy Nielsen. I am a SMUD customer. I don't have a comment. I have questions for you. How do you sleep at night? How do you face yourself in the mirror? Is this the legacy you want to leave? Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you short-sighted? Are you a hypocrite? Are you giving lip service to things you've written on paper? Have you visited Coyote Creek? Have you taken your children? Have you taken your grandchildren? Can you think autonomously? Are you suffering from groupthink? Are you afraid to be bold when the other 5 members may not support your decision? Are you willing to take responsibility for your actions? I'll let you ponder those. And I can repeat those questions if you need me to, because I have remaining time.
Ms. Nielsen, if you're asking us to answer the questions, I would just let you know that because this item is not actually on our agenda, we're prohibited from having any real meaningful discussion on it. We appreciate your comments.
You've made that very apparent, that you're not having meaningful discussion. Thank you for your honesty. But no, in the quietness of your own heart and mind, I would just ask you each to reconsider and ask yourselves, how do you sleep at night? How are you going to face yourself in the mirror? How is this the legacy you're going to tell your children and your children's children that you contributed to our community and our state, how are you going to tell Indigenous people that, oh, we will read a land grant use statement at the beginning and opening of our meetings with a saw in our hand, with a knife in your back? I'm not sure how that happens. So short-sighted.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Next up is Hazel Farrell.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm a SMUD customer, Ward 4. Also wanted to come in here and speak out in opposition of the Coyote Creek solar development. I'm an environmental restoration worker. And many people have made many points as to why this project has been incredibly short-sighted, and I won't reiterate all of that too much, but I will talk to you as well about the fact that what many other people have said tonight about the trust that has been built in the community with SMUD over the years. And that is something that I share with a lot of people out here in the community. We do love SMUD, and you do have a great reputation, which is why I don't believe that you guys are coming at this from a malicious angle with this project. I understand why it's incredibly appealing when you are presented with such a high amount of power that can be output from renewable resources. But I think it's okay to admit that you've been sold a bill of goods by this solar development company. They've been incredibly behind on their promises for when they would be able to start outputting and generating power. And you do not hold an obligation to keep on extending your power purchase agreement with them. After finding out from how opposed the community is and how much they have not done their due diligence in properly representing the environmental destruction that will occur. I also want to speak to, since you talked, hearing you talk earlier about the expansive reputation that SMUD has globally and across the nation, how well we are envied by people that I've been reached out to from friends who actually work with prominent environmental law organizations all the way out on the East Coast, asking me what's going on about this Coyote Creek project. They've not heard of SMUD, but this is their first introduction to you. Then it's crazy to me that we're having that kind of reach out here because of how bad this project is. So if you care about your reputation globally, and if you're not willing to just listen to the community here at home, this is how people are hearing about you and understanding you going into the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do not see any more hands.
Okay. Then we will move on and to agenda item number 17. At this point, we provide directors an opportunity to report on SMUD activity. We'll begin with a report. Oh, Director Tamayo. Vice President Tamayo.
Yeah, thank you very much. Keeping in mind a number of the comments, and I'm not going to respond directly to any of those, but I would actually really appreciate a briefing from staff about what our options are, both under our contractual obligations, but also legally, for rethinking this. And I understand that we do have a contract that we voted on before, but I don't fully understand what our options are regarding this particular issue, and I'd really like to get a briefing on that. And to the extent possible, it would be great to be able to have if we can, I'd like to see some sort of public discussion of this, not just necessarily private briefings about what our options are. So.
Anybody else? Thank you. Thank you. And I would just, for reminding me, Vice President Tamayo, I wanted to reiterate my comments from last night that in an era where political discourse can often devolve into yelling and shouting, tonight's comments were generally respectful, well-reasoned, and we appreciate that. So now we will move on to.
Were you looking at me as to whether we wanted to weigh in on what David, our Director Tamayo, said?
If you'd like to weigh in, please do.
Only because I feel, one, I agree, and two, I think the public needs to understand the process that we've gone through that's been public, but they weren't here 4 years ago when this was presented and how it was presented. And I just think there's a history there that would be very helpful to the public to know. And it'd be something, I would just ask that we could put that out because a lot of folks don't know that. It might just be informative. Anyway.
And I would echo that too. I do think it's important to engage around the process that's going on here.
Okay. Now we will move on. We provide directors an opportunity to report on SMUD activity. We'll start with Director Rose in Ward 1 and work forward from there in ward order with my report coming last. And I would remind you that we also still have the JPA meetings to follow after we adjourn the main board meeting. So I would ask you to please keep your comments brief. Director Rose.
I don't feel like making a report tonight.
All right. Then we'll move on to Director Bowie Thompson in Ward 2.
None of the items are pertinent for discussion in the public. It's published, so I will pass also.
All right. Thank you for being brief. Director Herber in Ward 4.
Well, I am going to say a few little things. I just want to thank staff and also the folks in the Pocket Neighborhood Association. I went and spoke at the gala where we light the canal and, we get to see Santa. So every year, Council Member Rick Jennings puts this on along with Gil Canaday, Joe Flores, and Devin Lavelle. And it was great. There were so many people out there, and Santa came early, so I didn't get to speak. That was not a problem. Also want to say thank you to my neighbors in Curtis Park for the tree planting that took place about a week and a half ago. We had about 20 people who came out. SMUD was involved, the Tree Foundation was involved, and it's just something that I think really brings the neighborhood together. So that was a fun event. And then I also had the pleasure of going to the Big Cheese holiday presentation and the Salute to Labor, just in support of our folks in the labor unions. And that's it.
Thank you. Director Kurth in Ward 5.
Just a couple quick things that I'd love to point out. This is, of course, tree lighting season. Join the Norsac Chamber and the Natomas Chamber for their annual tree lighting events. Got to spend the annual event with the Indus Valley American Chamber of Commerce, which is always a great annual event hosted in Elk Grove this time. And I guess the last thing to point out really quickly would, of course, be the Central Labor Council and the the Plumbers events that we look forward to every year. And with that, thank you.
Thank you. And Vice President Tamayo in Ward 6.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick shout outs to Cameron Law at the Carlson Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship for having a great session last month on the Sacramento Entrepreneurial State of the Union. It was very informative. And then also I wanted to also mention the Arab Community Center for Integration Services. I went to their event. I had not heard of this group before, but they provide services to recent refugees, primarily from Arab-speaking countries, that really need help in figuring out how to get along here, and they help us reach them with some of the programs that help them. So really just wanted to call attention to that organization that exists and is doing a great job out there. Thank you.
And Director Sanborn, Ward 7.
Things. I was pleased to meet with a company in my ward named Valara. They are a homegrown, Sacramento-based family-owned business that's out at McClellan, and they make HVAC systems, and they have done an amazing job growing the company. They have a very large fleet, and they want to work with us, and I was very happy to tour the facility with Dr. Webster of our team and some other staff, and we're going to be partnering with them, but they have actually developed a new type of motor that reduces the amount of energy up to like 40% on HVAC systems, and it's just really impressive what this company is doing. So a shout out to Valara, and thank you for the staff for partnering with them and continuing to, hopefully we're going to work with them on electrification of their fleet as well. I did have a meeting, a friend of mine who's a county supervisor in Tuolumne asked to meet with our staff about, they have a lot of biomass in Tuolumne County, fire risk, and they have a lot of flat land and unusable or very, very low quality farmland that is treeless almost. And they were looking at doing some solar projects that could possibly help us produce hydrogen. And so the staff are meeting with them, have met with them. We did have the meeting this week, and it was very productive, and hopefully that something can come of that as a regional solution. And we did have, Director Kurth and I did do the quarterly meeting with the Tree Foundation, and just to remind everybody, we did approve the contract this year so that we are adding shrubs, native shrubs, to the Tree Foundation and fruit trees to the program, so hopefully people will see those coming soon. And with that, I will turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just going to do one item real quickly, and that was I was able to attend on the 4th of December the California Energy Commission Clean Energy Champion Awards, and they recognized several people from all over the state for their efforts to provide clean energy, cleaner air, and often working with disadvantaged communities or communities that are suffering from the adverse effects of industrial processes with air pollution. And one of the main reason I went was because one of the awardees was Jaime Limos from the Sacramento Metro Air Quality Management District, and his work that he does to improve our community and the air quality here. They heavily mentioned his work with the lowrider, the electric lowrider project that we're involved in as a way to bring young people into thinking about electric vehicles, cleaner air, and doing that with a lowrider. The project is still underway. It's not quite done yet, but they're getting closer, and it was just a really nice event, and congratulations to Jaime for being recognized for the amazing work that he does in our community. And I will turn it over to Paul Lau for the CEO report.
Well, thank you so much, President Frischman. First, I'd like to extend warm wishes for the holiday season to everyone. And I thank the board enough for your leadership this year and for being so active in the community. In 2025, the board delivered 124 speeches and presentations, and a special shout out to President Frischman for all your leadership in serving as board president this year. It's been a pleasure. You've all been in front, and we appreciate everything you do for SMUD, our customers, and our community. Now, this holiday spirit around SMUD has been extraordinary this year. Team SMUD was out in force at the 32nd annual Run to Feed the Hungry on Thanksgiving. This is the largest fundraiser for the Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services. The event sold out this year with over 34,000 runners, including many of our employees. So thank you, President Frischman, Vice President Tamayo, and Director Sanborn, and Rose for joining us. Now, next month's annual gift from the hard drives, in partnership with Sacramento County, is helping brighten the lives of local families and individuals in need. Now, SMUD employees gave 175 gifts to help make the holidays a little brighter this season. SMUD's Care excuse me, is also collecting non-perishable food items to benefit local food pantries to make sure no one goes hungry during the holidays. And finally, our military employee resource group is rounding up items for homeless veterans and for the Sacramento VA hospital. I'm proud of everyone pitching in to make sure folks in our region are cared for during the holidays and all year. Now, a few weeks ago, we teamed up with American River College to host What's Cooking, a high-energy, hands-on culinary experience to introduce high school students to the benefit of induction cooking and all-electric kitchen. The successful event provided students with practical skills, environmental awareness, and a creative opportunity to learn about electric cooking. Excuse me. Early next year, the student will come back for a cooking contest to put their new culinary and clean energy skills to the work. And now finally, for tonight's video, we're giving a behind-the-scene look at the great work we've been doing in partnership with the U.S. Forestry Service to improve recreational opportunities in our Upper American River project. Now, as part of our 50-year license with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to operate our Upper American River project hydro system, we've been making recreational enhancements and improvements throughout the area. There have been significant work over the last few years, and the team has been tracking progress with video footage this year. Now, the videos showcase boating flows on the American River, our investment in campgrounds, around our reservoirs, and paved and dirt bike trails improvement. Now, let's take a look.
It's an extremely high-quality piece of whitewater. In terms of quality of rapids, number of rapids, length, it's just kind of perfect.
It's remote, beautiful, scenic, out in the woods, you're on an adventure. We just have continuous rapids all the way down.
It's a difficult river that's certainly not for beginners. The scenery is unsurpassed, and be able to go like just at the beginning there and paddle right up to that waterfall that's coming in the river is just really, really special. Runs of this caliber that has this quality of whitewater are pretty rare, actually. When we have these releases, we really should try to take advantage of them.
We should definitely get on it as much as we can.
And this concludes my report, President Fishman.
I think this is one of the most beautiful places in the U.S. to work. I absolutely love working up here. It is incredibly beautiful. And working with the Forest Service.
We have the most modern, updated campgrounds in the Crystal Basin. They are such a treat for people to come and visit with bear boxes and consideration to tent pad placement.
I'm very proud of the work that we do up here.
That concludes my report, President Fishman.
So I believe we have completed our agenda, and seeing no further business, the board meeting is adjourned, and we will immediately reconvene as the Northern California Energy Authority and the Northern California Gas Authority. We are officially open for joint special meetings of the governing boards of the Northern California Energy Authority and Northern California Gas Authority. Number one, Chief Legal Officer, please read the description of the specified JPAs.
Is a joint powers agency formed by SMUD and the Sacramento Municipal Utility District Financing Authority, and is authorized to purchase gas, electricity, and capacity, acquire, finance, and build gas and electrical transmission facilities, and acquire, finance, and build gas and electrical generation storage facilities. It is governed by a commission consisting of the 7 members of the SMUD Board of Directors. The Northern California Gas Authority Number 1 is a joint powers agency formed by SMUD and the Sacramento Municipal Utility District Financing Authority, and is authorized to acquire, construct, and operate natural gas-related facilities and engage in the purchase and sale of natural gas. It is governed by a commission consisting of the 7 members of the SMUD Board of Directors. As required by state law, I am notifying the public that the commissioners are not receiving additional compensation as a result of this commission meeting.
Thank you, and would you now also please conduct a roll call?
Commissioner Rose? Here. Commissioner Bowie-Thompson?
Present.
Commissioner Herber?
Here.
Commissioner Kurth?
Here.
Vice President Tamayo?
Here.
Commissioner Sanborn?
Here.
President Fishman?
Here.
You have a quorum.
If there are no corrections, changes, or additions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the joint agenda for the Northern California Energy Authority and Northern California Gas Authority Number 1.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved Director Tamayo, seconded Director Sanborn. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Rose?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowie-Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Herber?
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth?
Aye.
Vice President Tamayo?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanborn?
Aye.
President Fishman?
Aye.
The agenda is approved.
At this time, we give our customers an opportunity to speak on matters that are on the agenda. I do not have any cards for that. Do we have anybody online who wanted to speak?
I have not seen any hands on this item.
All right, then we'll move on to the consent calendar. Items number 2A and 2B were reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of November 18th, 2025. They pertain to the approval of the 2026 proposed budgets for NCEA and NCGA1. If there are no corrections, changes, or additions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Moved Director Herber, seconded Director Sanborn. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Rose?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowie-Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Herber?
Yes.
Commissioner Kurth?
Aye.
Vice President Tamayo?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanborn?
Aye.
President Fishman?
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved.
And at this time, we allow the public to comment on items not on the agenda but within our jurisdiction. I do not have any cards for that either. Do we have anybody online?
No, we do not.
Do we have any summary of commission direction?
No, we do not.
Having completed the agenda and seeing no further business, this meeting is also adjourned.